2025 Porsche 911 Carrera 4 GTS. This is the 992.2 generation, and the reason I'm so particularly excited to try this out today is that this has the new hybrid system from Porsche, which I hear great things about, but let's see if it lives up to the hype. We're powered by a 3.6 liter flat six with a single turbo making 478 horsepower plus a 1.9 kilowatt hour battery that powers two electric motors. One of those is between the engine and transmission that adds up to 64 horsepower and also smooths out the shifts, and another that's in the turbo that reduces your turbo lag. Total output is now 532 horsepower, 449 pound-feet of torque. That's made it to an 8-speed PDK, because keep in mind, with the 992.2, you can only get a manual if you go with the Carrera T or the GT3. In terms of weight, because the hybrid system adds a little bit more than 100 pounds, we weigh in right around 3,650 pounds with a 39 to 61 front to rear weight distribution. Now, I was surprised to hear that because that's actually the same as other all-wheel drive 911s, even though you now have a hybrid system where the battery is low and near the front axle. But then you're also adding weight with the electric motors and such to the rear. Overall, same weight distribution, just increasing the total amount of weight by a bit more than 100 pounds. And if you're wondering why it sounds so heavy for a Porsche, remember, this is the all-wheel drive version, the Carrera 4 GTS. And we have strut front, multi-link rear with PASM and rear axle steering as standard. Remember, the 992 only got double wishbone with the GT3. 0 to 60 is tested at 2.8 seconds and the quarter mile in 10.7 at 128 miles an hour. This is no slouch. This example is finished in Carmine Red with Eagle F1 Supersport tires. Base MSRP for the 992.2, as everyone knows, has jumped up quite considerably. We're now at $173,000 for the base MSRP. This one is optioned to over $220K, including the Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, front axle lift, and 18-way sports seats. The fit and finish to the interiors just get better and better. But many of us lament the fact that we have lost the little twist. First the key was gone, then you have the nub. Don't mind, because the nub is still nice. You gotta get that motion, but now you just press a button. We have the Braun shaver as our gear selector. We have our drive modes here. We'll start off in sport. You can see that we don't have PASM engaged, but we have the sport exhaust enabled. Actually, let's toggle that off to begin with, and then you can see if you like it more with the sound on or sound off, because it does actually pipe some noise into the cabin as well. With the speakers, I mean, not just valving. Traction limited, we are on a damp and slightly gravelly road. Holy! In sport mode, it gives you that nice, very crisp little torque dip between shifts. My God, what a rocket. Steering here, incredibly precise. It's not even a GT3, right? This is a GTS. But such a pinpoint precise steering. It's not obviously as fast and immediate as a GT3, but it's not far off, honestly. Very impressive. And now we're in Sport Plus. PASM engaged, sport exhaust. There was no launch control or anything there. I just got into the throttle, and I mean, this does not feel like a turbocharged engine. The way they have set this up with the electric motors to spool up the turbo and in the transmission, you just feel like you're getting a very linear response. This feels like a higher displacement, naturally aspirated engine. Now, the way it sounds, to me, I mean, you guys tell me what you think. You can also wear headphones because I'm using binaural mics, so it'll feel like you're in the car. The piped in noise through the speakers sounds a little bit sibilant and harsh and not quite as natural and pleasant, but I love these Porsche brakes as well. That modern Porsche, that firmness, right? You don't get a tremendous amount of travel, but you get enough travel so you have the resolution and a good amount of firmness. Although if I were to nitpick compared to some other 991 and 992 Porsches that I've driven, this one has a very slight dead spot at the beginning of the brake travel, but I'm just nitpicking now. Steering here, again, very precise, but in terms of the feedback, you actually get a bit of road texture through this E-Pass. Normally, you know, E-Pass, everyone bemoans the loss of hydraulic steering because of the added feel and feedback. And while this is not a hydraulic rack, it still makes you feel somewhat connected. Let's go down to manual mode and see how these shifts feel. Why are these shifts a lot slower than the other PDKs I'm used to? I mean, watch my hands. Upshift is decently quick, but the downshifts... Here, let's try that again. Third gear, brake, downshift to second. There's a bit of a gap there. I mean, it's a very smooth downshift, but that is not as immediate as I'm used to PDKs being. What's going on? Yeah, right there as well. Interesting. Now with the all-wheel drive system, even on a road like this, damp and gravelly, there's no drama. I mean, already with Porsche having the rear engine, you're putting all that weight over the rear wheels. You generally don't have much drama, even if you just have a two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive Carrera. But here with that all-wheel drive system, really giving you the confidence as you put the power down. But with each newer Porsche, while they are technically brilliant, the one thing is, of course, the communication. While the steering is good for E-Pass, it's not teeming with feedback. I mean, there are GT Porsches, I suppose, with still electric power steering, especially the 991.2, more so than the 992, if I'm being honest, that have really excellent electric power steering. But as I'm driving the car, I'm more impressed by the performance, and the emotional aspect is largely due to the raw performance. Again, the power, the acceleration, its capability, and I love the inputs in terms of them being very natural, but I'm just not getting the level of drama and, I guess, connectedness that I crave when I'm driving a Porsche. Although maybe my expectations are misaligned because this is a Carrera 4 GTS. This is not a GT3 or a GT4. Again, these downshifts are just throwing me off. Why are they so slow in this? And I'm actually going to take PASM off. And Porsche with suspension, they are really well dialed. The PASM is very impressive. You have with the newer generation, a larger magnitude shift. And you get a good balance of ride comfort and body control, especially given the weight, because this thing weighs more than 3,600 pounds. So part of that connectedness and immediacy and sportiness is also going to be due to the fact that this is just heavier. You can, of course, save weight by going rear-wheel drive rather than all-wheel drive. Yeah, getting a little bit through the wheel, over some of these bumps especially. But with a GTS, you're not going for razor sharp, beat you up kind of experience. You want something that is refined, that you can daily drive and then also bomb the canyons and the back roads and have a good time. Yeah, but the throttle response, the immediacy, this does just feel... This just feels naturally aspirated, honestly. It does not feel like there's not any hint of turbo lag at all, even low RPM. God, this level of performance is just so much more than what you need for the street, at least for this road. I feel like I'm getting blue balls, holding myself back. Nice damping, actually, just a single compression there. This is a car that if I had a $200,000 budget and I wanted to daily drive it, I didn't actually need a sedan. like that CT5e Blackwing, by the way, you can find that review linked below, then, I mean, this makes a compelling offer, but just keep in mind, you're making a trade-off. You are getting more refinement, more insulation, a little bit less connectedness, but a very impressive performance ceiling. And the question comes down to number one, use case, which I think for that purpose, like, why do you need a turbo? Why would you ever need a Porsche turbo when this is already so quick? And secondly, the price. So at $200,000 now, you know, I'm not sure what the GTS jumped by, but I know the GT3, the 992.2 GT3 jumped by $55,000 versus the 992.1. And across the whole 992.2 lineup, the prices jumped up quite considerably. And at $200K, I mean, can you justify this? That's going to be a personal question, of course, and depending on your budget and your priorities. I think for the price, the performance is there, the refinement is there, the quality and calibration of all the inputs is there, and the interior quality is there, but the emotional experience that you might be hoping for at that price point might be lacking. Again, it depends on what your priorities are and what your use case is, but big shout out to the owner, Alex, for letting me review his 911 Carrera 4 GTS. And if you want your car reviewed, visit us on jabalndcars.com. Fill out the form on the homepage. Let me know what you think of the 911 992.2 Carrera 4 GTS with a comment down below. Much love, my friends, and I'll see you all in that next one.